Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the Ham and Spam Retro Review, the podcast where we like to review retro games, movies, TV shows, and everything in between.
Check us out on all the social medias, including Twitter, where you can find us at Ham and Spam Games, Instagram, which is also at Ham and Spam Games, Facebook at Ham and Spam, and even YouTube. Just search Ham and Spam Retro Review. Thanks for listening, and we hope you enjoy. Please insert Rumble Pack to access podcast.
We're waiting.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Ham and Spam Retro Review. My name is Clint Thompson, and I'm here with Jonathan Hammy Hamilton. Welcome back to this week's episode, where we are going to cover some racing games.
We are?
Well, kinda. More like cruising games.
Cruising.
We are going to cover just in time for the new cruising game to come out on Switch later this week. We are going to cover the classic cruising games for Nintendo 64. We're going to cover USA, Cruisin USA, Cruisin World, and Cruisin Exotica.
And the reason we're doing this is because you remember after last season.
Yes.
Good friend, long-time listener, Emily.
Yes, Emily. This is an episode that we knew we were going to put in this season specifically for you, and then we just happened to, notice that they had a new cruising game coming out.
Which I pre-ordered for Switch.
You got it on the way.
Allegedly.
Okay.
So she also said we didn't give the N64 a lot of love, so we have a ton of N64 games this season.
Yeah, we do. Complete with probably the most ultimate and iconic Nintendo 64 game. If you can put two and two together,
Mission Impossible.
Exactly. If you can put two and two together, hit us up on Twitter. We'll let you know if you
Lamborghini 64.
Superman 64.
Oh boy.
Yeah, what a broken game. Anyway, so let's just get right into it. The cruising games were really, really popular in the arcade and the vestibule at Walmart. I don't know if you ever played at the vestibule games in Walmart back in the day.
I tore them up.
I remember
a lot of Tekken.
I remember the cruising game being in the main entrance of the old Walmart before we got the Super Walmart over in Italian.
Before it ascended to Super Walmart.
And you could, I believe it was hold camera button 3 and get the extra few vehicles. I always enjoyed this game. I enjoyed this game a lot more before they got that, oh gosh, what do you call it?
Steering wheel?
What? Yeah, it's like the steering wheel that kind of fights back. I didn't like it.
I was just trying to mess with you. I didn't know that's what you were actually going for.
No.
And I didn't know a steering wheel could fight back.
Well, like they've got this mechanical thing where, like, if you go so far and it's in the game at a certain point, it'll kind of fight back. Like, you know how I guess a steering wheel kind of really does.
No, I'm thinking like it comes loose and like puts you in a choke hold.
No. It you want to try to turn to the right, it's going to try to bump it back to the left. Like maybe you're going too fast in a curb or something. So I mean,
that's just terrible.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's it seems like it would limit you where like you couldn't turn it all the way to the right as much as you wanted, and I didn't really care for that part of it. But this one with USA was not like that.
So I remember this one and CC's Pizza.
Yes.
Which, by the way, what an amazing place.
What an amazing place and an amazing time in our lives when we would totally skip college just to...
No, man. We didn't do that.
No. What are you talking about? No way.
I mean, the pizza buffet, I forget, it was real cheap. They had root beer on tap.
Yep.
Big screen TV. Back
when Cartoon Network was great.
No, back before we had the flat TVs. This thing probably weighed half a ton.
Yeah.
And
I had one of those TVs, by the way. For a very long time.
Oh yeah, I remember going and getting it with you.
Yeah, until I threw a controller through it.
remember if you looked at it from a certain angle, it's just black. You couldn't see
Yes.
anything. But no, it had that back room. It had Cruisin, and I don't remember what else it had.
I don't remember either. It might have been like some of those classic games like Frogger.
I don't know. Who cares when you got Cruisin though?
Yeah, there's always a line for Cruisin. 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, us.
Get out of here, kid.
Exactly. So this right here was a 1996 game, much like everything else with Nintendo 64. When they threw this out, they threw it out hard, and this was an arcade game first that come out in 94 ish, and it was ported over to the Nintendo 64. They would go on to make improvements as the game went along. The series went along and did some different things here. But I always liked this one because it was very simple, very fun. I thought the tracks, you had some high tracks, but you had some low tracks too. Like the Grand Canyon track, I didn't really care for. The one where you're kind of out in the Arizona desert, didn't really care for.
Yeah, Redwood Forest is my favorite.
See, I like Redwood Forest just from a look standpoint, and the fact that the trees are all paper and you run over them and they're literally 2D. They just fall flat forward.
Then you find out they're not like that in real life.
No, they're not.
So,
but you can drive through them, and you can actually do that out in California. So
it's funny. I didn't actually play this on N64 very much.
I didn't play it on N64 very much either. I played more of the arcade version.
And Emily was telling me, I think she said she had a steering wheel for N64.
Oh yeah.
And see, we didn't get that.
I didn't get that far into any of the racing game. Like, I enjoyed playing them, but for me, racing games were kind of, if you played one, you kind of played them all.
Well, this,
like, Driver was different because you never really left the car, but it just gave you a different feel.
Well, you got to remember too, and we talked about this earlier. When you have racing games, you've got two kinds. You've got your arcade and you've got your sim. And this definitely falls into arcade. It's not realistic driving.
No, gosh, no. under any circumstances. There's no physics in this game.
Right. It's just made to be fun.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun.
It is. It is. We were playing before we started recording here, and you were talking about how much fun you were having in Exotica. Now, it was hard. Like, the AI is souped up in it, and it's very, very hard to beat the tracks.
Yeah, we'll get to Exotica.
Yeah. But like you were just saying, you were having a lot of fun, and I had a lot of fun with USA when we were doing our playthrough.
We're playing through Iowa, and you hit the school bus, and you hear the children screaming.
Right. And my favorite track in Cruisin USA was always Iowa, because it's not really suburban, but it's, you got cornfields and houses and stuff, and then you'll run across a random deer. And in the arcade version, you could hit the deer and the deer would explode. So nice. I think that's one of the reasons why the arcade version wasn't like rated E for everyone, is because there was a little bit of blood and gore in it.
Oh man, if I had the resources and the space, I would love to get the Cruisin games on arcade.
Oh my goodness, there's no way.
You'd
have to build a big shop, a big building just to put them all in.
Get those. What was that other racing game with the boats? I like some Hydro Thunder.
Hydro Thunder.
Love that on arcade.
I got it for my Xbox 360. I think it was a Games with Gold or something, and I got it. It's been a lot of fun.
And as much fun as they are on console, my gosh, on arcade.
Yeah, if you
have a chance to play them on arcade, do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've got something besides a controller to hold, because it gives you more of that realistic feel. Like with Hydro Thunder, if I'm not mistaken, there was like the boat prop, accelerator, I guess you call it. Probably. And of course, of this, there's throttle. There you go, throttle. But of course, with this, there's a gas pedal and a brake pedal. It's got the chair. You can adjust the chair back and forth. It's got a couple of different camera views. I mean, it's just you're basically sitting in a car.
People hated racing after me because that chair was all the way back.
All the way back. I don't know about you guys, but did you ever select the manual transmission in this game?
Yes, because I didn't know what it was,
and you never got it first.
That was a waste of a quarter for old Hammy.
Well, because you got a downshift. Once you wreck, you got a downshift. So I tell you one thing I didn't use in the arcade was the brake pedal. I never used
brakes. What's that?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't use those in real life.
Yeah, just ask that deer in real life.
The animals will stop me.
They always do, unless they're robots, and then you can turn them back into animals. But anyway,
fit in a Sonic reference.
I did. I had to.
There you go. Hey, you know what?
On the heels of everything going on with Sonic right now.
I got that game too, by the way.
Did you end up getting it?
Yeah.
Even after the
because it's
quote unquote leak.
It's like $5 on. It's like $5. No, I'm just kidding. It is like $30. Which, by the way, that leak turned out to be fake.
Yeah. You told me that leak.
That kid's gonna get sued into oblivion,
probably
by Nintendo and Sega.
Yeah.
He just united two rivals.
It's like Degeneration X and NWO join forces.
It's like someone walking out in the field during the Iron Bowl, and Alabama and Auburn both there, and just jump on him.
Yeah, it's like Al Qaeda jumped out, and we just
like if LSU showed up at the Iron Bowl. Bama and Auburn. You know what? We can put our differences together.
Yeah,
our differences aside,
and come together. There you go. So real quick, let's run through the tracks here in Cruisin USA. You had some kind of iconic ones. You had a very, very long.
We got a list of them because I cannot remember.
Yeah. I can pull up a list real quick. One of them that was kind of unique, and again, it's like you said, it's an arcade. It's an arcade port, and it's a very arcade racer. So you go to the Golden Gate Bridge stage, and the Golden Gate Bridge is not as long as it is in the game. But you just continually go across it. It
doesn't help that this thing, the render distance is not that far.
Right.
Now it's better than Driver. Driver, it doesn't even render within braking distance.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all. I've already mentioned Iowa, where it's kind of the cornfields. You've got
Grand Canyon.
The Grand Canyon. I didn't really care for the Grand Canyon too much. Just, I guess aesthetically, it's just not as pleasing as some of the others.
Like Redwood Forest. Like you were talking about how it's cool racing through the trees.
Right.
Both figuratively and literally.
Yeah. But the thing I didn't like, me personally, I didn't like about the Redwood Forest, it was very curvy.
Yeah, you got to slow down a lot.
And Coach Murphy, if you're listening to this, it's very Watkins Glen road course.
Yeah, at first. Road course there. But Beverly Hills. I knew you were gonna do that.
I know. Weezer reference, got to do it.
Weezer and Sonic, man.
I'm on a roll. 90s
all
nostalgia.
You need is Barbasol shaving cream. You'll have all your favorite things.
Wow. I don't really remember that much about Beverly Hills. It was just kind of
hilly and Beverly.
Yeah. I do remember San Francisco, not the Golden Gate Bridge stage, but the San Francisco. It was.
Was that Lombard Street in San Francisco?
I think so.
It's like that,
yeah.
Where all these movies have their chase scenes,
right? Going downhill,
yeah.
And
these
again,
houses.
Another Sonic reference. Is it not? Is it Sonic Adventure 2 that does that, where they're running down through San Francisco?
Yes,
with a big rig following, or Robotnik's big rig is following them.
I believe you are correct.
Hey, so, hey. There's going to be another Sonic reference. Just go ahead and put that one on the shelf because it's coming when we get there.
Oh, it's on the shelf.
What else was there, Hammy? There was
L.A. Freeway.
I don't remember L.A. Freeway.
In my mind, that means Lower Alabama. Death Valley.
Death Valley was one of the easy ones when you started out. That was the one right after the San Francisco or Golden Gate Bridge, right?
Sure. And Arizona.
Yeah. There's nothing to say there. Keep going.
Chicago.
I like the Chicago stage because you're literally running through the city, or you're racing through the city. That was pretty neat
because you're trying to get out
alive. Either way, we're not going to go there either.
Both figuratively and literally.
Yeah. But the concept of the game, well, keep going. Let's go through the rest of the track.
Did I ever tell you, my brother was a truck driver for a while?
Yeah.
And he always hated going to Atlanta because of the traffic.
Yeah.
And he went to Chicago once.
And loved Atlanta afterwards.
He said he would rather drive backwards through Atlanta.
Yeah. I can't.
That he saw a shooting in Chicago.
Oh, my goodness. I went to a suburb of Chicago called Romeoville for work. I had to go to Green Bay, Wisconsin, not for the Packers. But went
for the cheese.
They do have a really nice sports bar up there called Touchdown. Is it Touchdown? I can't remember.
Field Goal?
No, it's not Field Goal. Anyway, it's right next to the stadium. Anyway, I had to drive from there to Romeoville, and I had to drive literally from Wisconsin down to Illinois, and we as soon as you cross into Illinois, it's nothing but toll roads.
Oh,
everything in the interstate is toll roads. So, and I'm not a cash carrying kind of guy, so like I went straight through all the toll roads, and had to go back and mark my way through so I could go back online and pay them, so I wouldn't get fined.
Oh wow! I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, you can. You can pay them online, but I hated that experience. It was terrible. But
anyway, Hidden Track, Indiana.
I don't think I ever made it to the Hidden Track.
Appalachia.
Wow, they went south?
Well, you're thinking Appalachian.
Yeah, well,
Appalachia runs up to like
West Virginia,
New England, and yeah. So that's probably where it is, because nothing takes place in Alabama.
No. Except for Rampage on NES. I played so many levels of it. I went to Tuscaloosa and Birmingham.
Really?
Yeah. Quick little Alabama shout out from Rampage there on NES.
Then another hidden stage, Washington, D.C.
Oh my goodness!
I assume you probably had to do the Cruisin USA thing. That's probably the end.
Yeah,
because you basically
start on
West Coast,
go all the way to East Coast. So yeah, that's probably right. I don't remember those hidden tracks. Now, obviously, in the arcade, unless you're going to spend like $14 playing the game, it's going to be very hard for you to get all the way across. But I don't think the arcade version had a actual like Cruisin USA mode, did they? It was just you pick a track. Easy, medium, and hard, and just play it.
I couldn't tell you.
And I think if you come in first, you got a free race.
I can't remember. Because I don't know. I wasn't too good at it. In the arcade. I don't know if I may have won once or twice. But
yeah, I won a couple of times, but it was like on the easy ones. Then I'd immediately go to Iowa and just kill the deer. So the cars that you start out with, you've got
the silver car, the red car,
and you got a kind of a hot rod kind of
63 muscle car.
Yeah,
it's based on the 63 Chevy Corvette Stingray.
Okay.
La Bamba based on the deluxe Ford Coupe
and the movie.
Bamba, Richie Valens, R.I.P. Devastator 6. Based on a Hyundai.
Yeah. And then you had a couple of hidden cars.
Yeah. You had an Italia P69 based on Ferrari. Man, they had all the manufacturers in this.
Well, yes and no. I mean, I'm sure there's some licensing stuff that they didn't have that they tried to get around. And like you said, red car, silver car. So
yeah. You had a all-terrain vehicle based on a Jeep.
Right.
School bus and police car.
I used to love getting the school bus in this game, just because it's funny, because every car, like, it's not so much that every car plays the same as much as it is every car is the same speed. Like, it takes you a little longer to get to top speed. But what I also like about this game is, obviously if you hit something, you just do a quick 180 and you're back on, going the direction you need to.
Yeah.
There's no damage. And if you find yourself in, 6th, 7th, 8th place, it's really easy for you to recover and get back up to compete for first.
Yeah, well, depending on the difficulty.
Yeah. Well, you got the actual difficulty that you set in the game and the difficulty of the track. Like, I would hate to see a hard track on the most difficult setting.
Oh man.
There's no way.
No.
I don't know if it's possible to break this game by going out of bounds of the sandbox, but I'm sure we would do it.
Well, there are a lot of invisible walls smacking you back into the track,
right? And I think that's what kind of made it fun too. Obviously you're always going. You're looking at the screen. You're always going up, always going forward. So there's no like left or right or any way to veer off the path that's given, but. There's some obstacles and stuff that'll bounce you around. They'll do some sharp turns here and there.
Right. And of course, you meet traffic on the road. You have something
incoming
of a
and
radar.
Same way. Yeah.
It doesn't show you the track, like the upcoming turns or anything. And in this one, It just shows you like you got a little gray dot means something. Another vehicle's coming up. Red dot's a competitor.
A competitor, right? And if you're good enough to kind of look at the radar through your peripherals, you can kind of see what side the traffic's going to be on you. I did notice that. So like you're the little dot in the middle. If you see a gray dot coming, it'll be on your left or your right hand side. It lets you know. Obviously, the ones on the right hand side are coming, or on the left hand side are coming to you faster. So it lets you know they're kind of in the left hand lane,
right?
And then the ones that are going a little slower are the upcoming traffic. So again, a very fun game. It's very basic.
A ton of fun at retro game night.
It is because you start talking a lot of smack. Now, if you have a retro gaming night and you have Mario Kart 64 or Cruisin USA, I venture to say that you're probably going to play Mario Kart more than likely.
I think it depends on who's there. I think Mario Kart.
Who's there and how many players, how many controllers you have.
Right. Now, games like this, these arcade racing games are very casual friendly.
Right.
Like your wife is not a gamer.
Right.
But she'll play a racing like a Mario Kart.
Oh, yeah.
Or a Mario Golf or something like that.
Yeah. She'll try.
but yeah, and like you said, people probably go towards Mario Kart first. But if it's a bunch of guys there, it might be fun just to break out the cruising.
Yeah. See, I mean, like Mario Kart gets way more competitive than just cruising is purely driving for the most part and staying on the track. Whereas like Mario Kart, you've got some power ups and things that kind of level the playing field in a different way. But still very fun, and I really enjoyed the arcade version of this, and the 64 version. What little bit I actually played of it, I did enjoy it.
Right.
And the intro song, I mean, like, can you get past it? There's just no way. Cruisin', yeah, yeah.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Anything else on Cruisin?
USA? No, that about covers it for me. The next one's the one I spent most time on.
Now, see, I kind of lost a little bit with Cruisin after USA. I played World just a little bit. Again, it was an arcade thing, and it's been well documented. I wasn't a Nintendo 64 guy at this time, so I didn't have it. Technically, I still don't. The games that we played were all the ones that you had gotten. Was this? Were these games that you got just recently?
Yeah, it was after Emily told us we should review them.
Okay,
so I'm like, you know what? I should have these games,
and I don't.
I was like,
we are going to right this wrong.
There's only two of them, USA and World. What? There's a third.
Well, we'll get to the third here in a little bit, but
Cruisin World, I played a little in arcade. I played a lot on N64.
Mm-hmm. Now, was this a rental game for you, or did you actually own it back?
This was a borrow from Cousin Jeremy game, I think. Possibly Jeremy. Also a rental. I went to Blockbuster a lot.
Yeah, we need to really have a
Blockbuster.
Yeah.
GG.
RIP Asheville Video Store.
Just now an ambulance service.
It is an ambulance service. Go figure. We need to have an episode just on the different kind of games and stuff that we rented from Blockbuster, and talk about how many or like what games we basically could have just bought if we just bought it instead of rented it so many times.
Could you rent a console?
You could, especially later, because I want to say that Charles rented maybe a Sega Saturn.
See, I was always told you could, and I wanted to rent a Sega Genesis.
But see,
for Sonic, just for Sonic 2.
Yeah.
You got me obsessed with Sonic when I was a kid.
Yeah. We've already had enough Sonic talk. And then we still got one on the shelf, so let's not go down that path. But I do remember, like whenever the games became CD based and 64 based that you could rent them. I want to say the deposit was huge though. Like it was like you basically had to buy the system as the deposit and then rent it for whatever the price was.
And those consoles were expensive.
Yes, and then you and then when you brought it back, you got your deposit back. So it's like it's basically like you were buying it and then selling it back.
Yeah,
kind of thing. But you know, it makes sense. They've got to protect their investment. So, off topic, I saw a thing the other day talking about, I guess it was the Saturn. Yeah, because Saturn came out for Dreamcast, right? Saturn was announced at an E3. It was unbeknownst to anyone. They just up and just said, "Hey, surprise! Here's the Sega Saturn." and they announced the price like $299 at the time, whatever it was. And then,
yeah, because that was Sega of Japan,
right?
And Sega of America was pushing the
32X,
right?
The what do they call that? The Neptune. They were trying to do it as a Neptune. They're trying to combine everything and make it what they call the Neptune system, and then Sega Japan come out with the Saturn system.
And see, we need to do an episode on
the failures of Sega
because Japan and America just would not get along.
You know, they wouldn't. And that was ultimately their downfall. But anyway, my story was the whenever PlayStation came out, they announced at the same time, and literally the guy got up there and he talked to the microphone and went $199 and then turned around and sat back down. Like here's a Saturn $299. He just gets and says $199 and sits back down, and like everybody just erupts like, oh my gosh, it's great.
We don't know what it is.
Yeah. But anyway, I digress. That's, like I said, not part of what we're talking
and
about.
And the rest they say is history.
Yeah, well, it really
I would
is.
like a Saturn, though. It had some good games on it.
Okay. Sega, even at that time, was really known for their sports games, and their sports games were really good. I remember playing a golf game and a baseball game on Sega Saturn.
I think it was Sega CD.
I never played Sega CD. The only game,
Jurassic Park point and click adventure.
Really?
Yeah.
The only game I ever
you
played.
You on a time limit to beat the game.
Oh wow. The only game I ever played on Sega CD was
Sonic
CD. Yeah, 100%. And I still don't get that game.
Did you beat it?
I have beaten it. Yes, I've not beaten it with
because have you beaten every Sonic game?
Not every one. Like the main core ones I have. 1, 2, 3, Knuckles, Spinball.
How about
CD 4, Part 1, 4, Part 2, and Mania. And there's probably some others in there that
that'll be a New Year's resolution for the latter part of this year.
Oh my goodness. Like I can't play Unleashed where he's a werewolf. I can't play Knights where he's wielding a sword. None of that stuff is canon.
Sonic 06 is
unplayable. I have played Sonic 06. I have not beaten it. I have not gotten close to beating
I want to play through all the Zelda games.
Before the year?
No, that's impossible.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say there's like 30 Zelda games.
Yeah, it takes 6 months to beat some of them.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to cruising.
Hey, Cruisin.
Cruisin the World. An upgrade to me from a USA.
Yeah. They put a couple of there was some secrets within the track, like some shortcut stuff. They had this kind of feature where it's kind of it looked cool, but I don't know if it actually did anything. It looked like a turbo boost where your car would ramp up.
Well, first of all, the graphical update.
The graphical update was big.
Better render distance. Had some more stuff happening on the screen.
And in the background.
The radar now showed you the track. But yeah, in the controls, you could double tap the gas, which I remember doing that in the arcade too.
Right.
And you like kick up.
And it seemed like in the arcade of USA you could do that too, but don't hold me to that.
Like a wheelie, and you could hit stuff and do a flip. And I'm like, I don't know if it did anything, but it looked cool.
Yeah, and that was the thing. And we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get into Exotica. But I really enjoyed the tracks in this.
Oh
one.
Yeah.
Obviously they are from not just USA, because we've already covered USA. They are all over the world.
Right. Hence the name. You know what I didn't even think to look at?
What's that?
If people are driving on the other side of the road in certain maps. Like if you go to England.
I don't know because I didn't think about doing that either. We can fire it up real quick and test it out if you want.
That's too much work.
Okay.
So the tracks, Hawaii, which is my favorite.
Right.
Japan, Australia, China, Africa, but in the N64 version it's called Kenya.
Okay.
Egypt, Moscow. But Russia and then N64.
So version. The Kenya level. Okay, so when I think of Kenya, I think of like safari, desert kind of.
I think savannah.
Kind of. Okay. Yeah.
You know, like.
But is that what that was?
Watching a lion take down a giraffe or something. Or seeing Ace Ventura pop out the back of a metal rhinoceros.
Look, mommy, he's giving birth. You mentioned Moscow/Russia. That was my favorite.
That was a fun map.
It was just a fun map. Obviously Cold War is over by this point, but
what's crazy is that's how people actually drive in Russia.
Yeah, well, and that's how the roads are, and how Chernobyl is. And
if you're from Russia and you're listening to this podcast, hit us up at Ham and Spam Games on Twitter.
Yeah, you saw like the F-16s or F-15s or whatever they might be.
It'd be a MiG in Russia.
Okay, well there you go. But yeah, you got to one point where you see a lot of like nuclear radiation signs. You see Chernobyl I say Chernobyl. I'm using air quotes there.
You see a nuclear reactor,
right? You see the
nuclear. You see Red Square. You see all the statues,
right?
And you enjoyed driving over the statues.
I did. And we were singing the theme from Team America when we did it.
Take this, communism.
So, but yeah, that was a fun map. And then what else was there?
Germany is a fun map.
See, I didn't remember Germany.
I do. It's pretty hilly.
Okay. Oh yeah. We did play that one. Yeah, I remember that now.
Italy, France, England, Mexico.
So we're basically taking the World War II tour there.
Yeah, pretty much all of Europe. That's where the world wars tend to happen.
Yeah.
Mexico, New York, Florida was a hidden map.
And once you beat all of the maps, you got the hidden map, the moon.
Yeah, which is only on N64.
Okay, so that was an exclusive. That's pretty neat.
Yeah. Which kind of, bucks the trend of being on the world.
It's of the world. Cruisin of the world.
It's in distant orbit.
So obviously
but it was kind of a foreshadowing of things to come.
A little bit.
Dun dun dun.
So they not only did they expand the maps, they expanded the cars as well.
Oh, there's way too many to name.
Well, just we'll touch on a few. They had a Humvee that they called the ATV.
Yeah.
You had the big rig this time.
The Serpent was the one I drove the most, yellow one with the green stripes.
And why is that?
It was the first one available, and I was just ready to get to the race. The Bonsai was pretty cool.
Yeah.
The Orca, I do remember riding the Orca some.
It
was a little whatever.
And wasn't there like a El Camino? I don't think
the El Diablo.
El Diablo is what they call it.
Known as the El Nino and the Nintendo 64 version.
Right.
Based obviously on that fantastic automobile.
And that fantastic skit from Chris Farley.
El Nino.
I am El Nino. And for those of you that don't habla español, El Nino stands for the Nino. Oh man, I miss Chris Farley.
I do too. And a lot of hidden vehicles that we had no idea how to get.
Well, and that was the thing about the cruising games. Like you had to beat tracks, and then you had to unlock the next track, you had to beat the previous track, and then you had to beat all the tracks in first place to get the hidden tracks. But then, like, wasn't there like times that you had to beat in order to get some of the vehicles and stuff?
Yeah, and this one you had to like actually be good to get some hidden
like
stuff.
It wasn't just hold C left and C up and hey, here's all these other extra few cars. It was
work for them.
Yeah, you had to work for them, in game work for them, and
which I wouldn't have minded doing because I really enjoyed playing it.
But see, at the same time, like you look at something like Turok, and you just get the God code in Turok, and everything's unlocked. And think about how much fun you had there. Same thing with GoldenEye.
That's true.
So it's like okay, we can do this, and we can play it, and do it the way we're supposed to unlock everything, or you can give me the code and we can make it a lot more fun on the front side too. Because
what's funny with GoldenEye?
Because eventually you play it so much you kind of get tired of it.
Well, with GoldenEye, you had to play the levels to unlock the cheats.
Right.
It didn't come out, or I wasn't made aware of it till like many years later that there were cheat codes to get everything.
Oh, really? I thought you always cheated.
No, I had to get them legit.
Nice.
And it's funny because I couldn't unlock invincibility, but our good friend Wesley Palmer, I lent the game to him and he unlocked it for me because I could never unlock it, and he lent his to me and I unlocked one for him he couldn't get.
See, I missed that. I missed trading the card. We kind of joked about the cartridges because of course we had to blow into the cartridge to get it.
Yeah,
get it to work. But that is one thing that was pretty neat where you kind of, hey, I can't get this, but you can't get this. Let's switch. And you can unlock it on my card. I unlock this one on yours.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That was just kind of a neat thing to be able to do. Now, did it happen all the time? Probably not. And, once you kind of get into memory cards and things like that, things start changing a little bit. But just a very cool time, to be able to do that kind of stuff.
It was. You don't realize how good the times are till they're gone.
Oh man, that's an understatement.
But don't be sad they're gone. Just be glad they happened.
Don't make me cry, Hammy.
I'm already crying.
Hey, right. Can you reach behind your head there and hand me my Dr. Pepper cream soda? A little lower, Separate your shoulder. I don't care. You go. It's delicious. Thank you.
If you work for Dr. Pepper and are listening to this podcast,
we would gladly sign a NIL agreement and let you sponsor us.
So anything else about World?
That's pretty much it. Again, not a 64 guy, so I didn't spend a whole lot of time on it to be able to unlock everything, that's mentioned here. I think it would. Well, yeah. One thing I do want to mention. So when you do the double tap of the accelerator and you ramp up, it makes you look like you got a boost going. If you get hit from behind while you're in your wheelie stage, I guess, you'll do a backflip. And if you hit somebody from the front when you're wheelie stage, you do a front flip, and those will add time to your.
Yeah, because you've got time limits between checkpoints,
right? And I guess that's just to speed the game up. I don't know, because you figure it most all tracks are about 2 minutes, a race.
Let's say you don't dilly dally and mess around.
You know what I think of every time I hear somebody say dilly dally?
What's that?
So there was a Scooby-Doo meets Batman and Robin from way back in the day.
I remember that.
And they were at the Dilly Dally Dolly Company. And every time I hear Dilly Dally, I think of Dilly Dally Dolly Company.
You know something interesting about that episode?
What?
At one point, Batman's hand is animated without his glove. And he's got this big, weird looking ring on his finger.
Really?
It's the weirdest thing ever. I remember I actually spotted that when I was a kid, looked it up years later when got the internet.
Now that I'm thinking about it, it might not have been a Batman and Robin one that was Dilly Dally Dolly Company, but I do remember that being in a Scooby-Doo episode. I want to say it was Batman, though.
Well, anyway, back to cruising. Cruisin World, I spent the most time with it, so obviously it's going to be my favorite. But I got to admit, just playing Exotica a while ago, a game I didn't know existed until I was ordering these games off eBay. They really ramped it up. Like we said, these are arcade games. These are meant to be fun. They're meant to be wacky and silly. No physics, no damage. They took all that, and it feels like they really turned it up to 11 for Exotica. You're looking for the tracks and stuff, aren't you?
Yeah.
But it's not on the website. That's why I handed the laptop back to you.
Okay. Well, keep talking.
They keep talking. I want to try to stretch my arm
and turn the game on.
Turn the game on because Exotica's in.
Okay. Exotica. We one thing we didn't talk about was the Cruisin World soundtrack. So it was
a little different, but just as epic.
Yes, absolutely. Just pull it. You're good. Just pull it. Pull it.
Why is your diploma on this table?
Because I had to have my diploma for my background check for whatever reason where I was coaching football.
But you went to school at
I know
that same place.
I know.
So Cruisin Exotica, the first thing is you've got characters, drivers you choose.
Right. Including a baby and a clown.
A very scary looking clown.
A cowboy.
Uh-huh. Some lady in a bikini.
Yeah. And an alien.
Yep. And then another lady in a bikini.
So you can make these guys, you can delete them and make them your own profile. Almost like a, what's the word I'm looking for?
Custom character, maybe?
No, because you can't really customize
Avatar?
Avatar. That's the word I'm looking for.
What? Okay. I'm trying to.
Yeah.
Okay, select. I'm trying to create a new character so we can see if there's any missing.
Oh, there's probably plenty.
What are you doing now?
Me?
Yeah,
I'm doing the same thing. We're trying to find the maps.
Oh, we've got them right here.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh my goodness, this is.
Okay.
There we go. I can just hit left and right.
Oh.
Okay, that's all of them. So they.
Oh, all right. We've covered that.
All right, we're gonna pick Ricky. Let's go through the maps real quick. Korea.
So we're still not very exotica here, but we're still in the world.
Yeah, it's like I don't understand
like a mixture.
The term. I guess it's exotic locations.
Yeah. Whoa, what are you doing?
So yeah, Korea is beautiful. I'm gonna play. Keep talking.
Oh, you're actually gonna play?
Yeah, I'm gonna play for the first time ever on the podcast. I'm playing.
Hey, remember hey, it's got the flag, the Korean flag.
It does. South Korean flag.
Korean.
It's not North Korea. This is definitely South Korea.
We don't know what it looks like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
So you're in a convertible right now.
I am. I'm an alien.
You're an alien in a convertible.
You're right. South Korea, headed towards the
demilitarized zone.
Right, because I'm going to challenge Kim Jong-un to a race.
Wow.
Make him. I'm going to beat him, and he's going to be Kim Jong-dos.
So there's a hippie van and a police car and a pickup truck that you're racing.
There's a hot air balloon. See, it's just wacky looking, but the render distance is much better.
Yeah, and even the background too.
Background looks incredible. Those traffic cones are
in the way.
Rather, they did away with the track preview on the radar. I'm not sure why they did that.
Kind of old school. Again, everything still goes 142 miles per hour. Oh my gosh!
I just knocked that policeman right off the road.
Wow. Peace, love, and let me ram you into this tunnel.
Wow, yeah, nothing peaceful about that hippie van. I just clipped right through the bridge.
Through the tunnel.
It became a bridge when I clipped through it.
Whoa, you went the wrong way there, buddy.
I mean, you got the clouds there. It looks great. And like I said, I never even knew this game existed.
And one thing you can kind of tell about these games, as obviously as the life went on, the voice rendering got better.
Yeah, they love their airplanes flying close over the road, don't they?
Well, in Asia they do anyway. Wasn't it China that you were at last time that did that? Wow, 5th. That's one thing I didn't like about this game. This game was hard. Like,
anyway, I just wanted to see Korea. So
okay. But yeah, this was hard.
Atlantis.
So here comes the Exotica part of it. So you've got Atlantis.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like you're racing through the aquarium in Georgia, where you're kind of in a tunnel, and Atlantis is all around you.
Sahara, the desert, Hong Kong, which was a very cool map.
Yeah,
that was a lot of fun.
Oh, here it is.
Alaska was a blast.
Alaska was fun, and Alaska
super intense,
and had a lot of the killer whale, which is where the hopefully last reference of Sonic comes in.
Yes, Sonic Adventure. That was
you made that.
I made that. I did. Vegas.
I don't remember Vegas.
India. Mm-hmm. Ireland.
How many times did you actually play Ireland? Just because it's Ireland.
You've seen me play this game 100% of the time. I've played this game.
Okay.
I know some people went to Ireland and sideswapped a car. If that was you and you're listening to the podcast.
What? Hold on.
Yeah.
Go back. What was that now? Tell that story.
They went to Ireland.
Uh-huh.
They were driving and accidentally sideswapped a car and just kind of kept going.
Do I know these people?
You might. I'm not going to say anything else. Holland, also known as the Netherlands.
Right.
Amazon, where dinosaurs still exist.
Where what?
Dinosaurs still exist. Tibet. And Mars.
And that one's probably the most exotic.
Look at the alien with his thumbs up.
Yeah, I mean this game was probably what, 2000 when it come out.
Oh, May. I think you're right. I think it is 2000.
But this one right here was kind of like the last one, but it had different things. If you want to, some of the unlockables was like accumulate 20,000 miles or 50,000 miles, and 75,000 miles. My goodness!
Whoa! So check it out. I was about to make a comment that they really went simple on the vehicles.
No, they didn't.
You got 2 convertibles, a police car, and a taxi. But you hit up.
Yeah.
You've got whatever that is.
A truck.
A pickup truck.
There's the Sundowner. That was the one you wanted to make fun of.
It's solar powered.
Right.
It's got 3 wheels.
But I think it had the
and it's about 70 feet long
on the game though. Because that's usually like
only during the daytime though. There's that. That's like
it's like a wood grain surfer mobile.
I like the surfboard.
I like that. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
It'd be cool if it would come.
The hippie hauler.
The war wagon.
A convertible
big rig.
Yes, I love it. Mud buggy. That's cool too. And back to square one. Okay. I'm sure there are secrets that we have no idea.
There's all kind. There's a rocket or a car they call the rocket. There's one called the Pie Wagon, which we're not going to get into. There's a jalopy, the Little Lightning, heavy lifting, hunk of junk. Again,
I love these names.
Yeah. Again, this is not a game that I played a lot of to unlock all this stuff, because again, the unlockables got super hard.
But yeah, this was one I never played, never knew it was a thing.
So if I had one criticism of this game, and again, we don't really do graphics because graphics were a product of the time. They can't help that, but
right.
They added just enough to keep the game interesting, but at the same time, it's like that was the biggest criticism. Like whenever Exotica come out, was it's another cruising game. Nothing's really changed. You're racing, and there's people in front of you, but how do you improve?
Don't fix it.
Well, that's true.
If it's the right gear, don't shift it.
But the thing is, I mean, even you didn't know Exotica had come out.
No, I mean, that was before
the internet in Alabama.
Right. I mean, at best, I was getting stuff from Napster.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. And that is why
took 7 hours to get
Metallica
Smells Like
hates
Teen
you.
Spirit.
That's why Metallica hates you.
One of the reasons.
But like, if you were to make some changes, and this is predating, the game that's coming out next week. If you could make some changes to these 3 games, like what would you like to have? Like, I think create a car would be kind of neat, or create a character would be kind of neat. I don't want to go as far as saying create a track. That might be a little much for the Nintendo 64, but just some things that you think that might have made that just a little bit better.
I would have liked a track preview.
Okay.
Like Mario Kart has.
Right, like a map preview. Kind of like, well, they did that in World, but on the 2 bookend games,
but it's
do
not near as good. Like Mario Kart shows the whole track.
Yeah.
So what's coming up.
Sure.
This is what's just ahead of you.
Right. And this isn't a lap per se either. This is just a section of road that you race on.
Now, Exotica also added a lot of like shortcuts and secrets.
And there were some in World too.
But I accidentally found most. I was knocked into most of them.
I was going to say you were
because holy cow, in Exotica, the drivers are aggressive. They will go after you and try to ram you.
And again, we didn't get into the settings to see if maybe the settings were hit a little higher. But
yeah, we didn't think about that. But
settings, who needs settings?
I like racing games with shortcuts and stuff like that. I could have used some more of those, because I mean, if you're going to go arcade racer, go full blown arcade racer.
Well, yeah,
and it feels like they started going that way. I mean, they started off USA. I mean, they knew what it was going to be,
right?
And they started kind of to hit their stride by Exotica.
And am I not mistaken in the fact that when you go to Hawaii and you race in Hawaii, that aren't there like some speed boost things in Hawaii that
might have been time trials, because we were doing time trials.
Right.
That's
right. You're right. That's what that was.
But
because you had 3 different boosts in that too,
right.
like nitro boost.
But this does have the wheelie move like World did, except when you hit somebody, you don't do a flip, you do about 12 flips.
Right.
And it just goes crazy.
And you can drive on 2 wheels if you get to a turn too hard too.
You could in World.
Oh.
Okay. But it's like I said, it's everything wacky from World turned up to 11, and it works.
Yeah.
It's a game that doesn't necessarily take itself too seriously. It knows what it is. It knows what people expect from it. And it embraces that. It's like, here's a fun game that you're going to play with friends, and you're going to have a blast racing each other and knocking each other around.
What were some of the other games that come out after this that were kind of replicated this? And what I mean by is, I know there was a couple that came out for, obviously PlayStation had Gran Turismo.
Yeah, that was a sim. Gran Turismo and Forza are straight up sims.
Right. And I was going to mention Forza too, because Forza is kind of like that in the sense that you can cause a lot of damage with your car, but your car won't take the damage.
Now, the thing with Forza is there's actually 2 kinds of Forza. There's Forza Motorsports, which is straight up Gran Turismo.
Right.
It's just, hey, you're a car enthusiast, you're going to love this. Forza Horizon's a little more arcadey, a little more like a Need for Speed Underground or something like that.
Right.
But after this, you had like Project Gotham Racing for the original Xbox.
I do remember some of that. And PlayStation 2, I believe, right?
I remember Twisted Metal. Remember that?
I do remember Twisted Metal.
Those were some fun games.
Those probably deserve a review as well.
Yeah, but I think the big thing with Cruisin was the fact that it was in the arcade, and that's where a lot of people encountered it first.
Right. So, wrapping up the Nintendo 64 versions, I really enjoyed it. They tried to improve on the sticks a little bit. If you try to play USA by holding the A button, you're going to change your view.
Yeah.
Because USA, it implemented the Z button, which is what it is. And it's funny too, because you get into like some of your Xbox 360 games and things like that, you usually hold right trigger to go. That's your accelerator. So that's what that kind of reminded me of, although I was using my left hand for the Z button. But in the new games, they fixed that. It was just your right hand A button, and use the analog stick to steer.
I'm sure you could change all that.
You probably could. I thought the analog stick in this sense worked. For this
controls
game.
are pretty tight. That's something I meant to talk about and I forgot. The controls are very tight. I mean, you play some games and it's like, I just cannot keep this car on the road.
Right. And
this, while it's there are times when it's like that, for the most part,
it's usually like really, really sharp turns.
Right.
Like you have to slow down, and this is a game you don't want to slow down in.
You feel pretty in control with these.
Right.
And there's not a lot of like, if you get smacked, around like what I just raced or sideways across the bridge, you don't lose that much momentum. Like
no. You can recover pretty easily.
Right.
So, all right. Well, I think that kind of wraps up everything on that. Let's talk about Blast.
Yeah, I'm very pumped for Blast.
So Blast is another arcade port, but this one was ported over strictly from Japan. It never had a USA debut. Well, I say never. I don't want to say that it never did, but
arcades have kind of faded away in the U.S.
Oh, they've more than faded.
I think they're still pretty big in Japan, but over here it's just not as big as it once was, which is a shame to me because I loved arcades.
Yeah. So I don't know if they took what they did in Exotica and just made it bigger or what, but they really updated the game. Obviously, you got better hardware, you got better software, you got better graphics, you got better music. You got a lot of stuff in here. You looks like you're gonna have some licensed cars. We're seeing some Chevrolet stuff in here and Hummer stuff.
And they talked a little about customization.
Okay. It looks like you've got like some customized wheels, like in Grand Theft Auto on Grand Theft Auto 5, you can have wheels that will put out certain color smoke.
Yeah.
And it looks like you're going to have some of that here. You can get different things like helicopters and different just
dinosaurs. You can race a dinosaur.
And just over the top cars and tracks for that matter too. Very very bright, very bright.
Did you see that? Up to 4-player split screen.
4-player split screen. I do see
Couch co-op, baby. Look at that. Yes.
Looks like you've got some like you're able to drift, so that's going to be something that's new in this. I don't know. It looks pretty exciting. I think that I'm trying to the El Camino makes its return.
Yeah,
the Hummer, different kinds of Corvettes.
It's a lot more colorful. It looks like you can kind of customize the look of everything. But I'm very excited for it. Like you said, it's like they took.
I mean, look at this
from Exotica, and
I mean, look at this. This is a dang hoverboat.
Yeah, that looks great.
And a helicopter and a UFO, and it's just again over the top.
I'm pumped for it, and I didn't know.
Monster truck, fire truck, school bus makes a return.
Well, what's funny is I had no idea that this was coming out.
There's a Triceratops and a
is that a shark with a laser beam?
Shark with a freaking laser beam on his head.
So I didn't know this game was even coming out.
A tank
until oh my bad.
No, you're good.
I didn't know this game was coming out until I was doing a little more research for these cruising games.
Yeah. Looks like you've got like some neon stuff, kind of outline the cars and stuff. So again, it's very, very bright, very vibrant. I'm looking forward to playing it. Again, I'm looking forward to playing your version of it.
But I didn't know it was coming out until I was looking more into these games.
Right.
And I was like, wow, that's quite a coincidence.
Yep.
And so I told Emily about it, and she said, well, she knows what her daughter's getting for Christmas now.
Well, Emily, I hope that you enjoyed this review of the Cruisin games and preview of Cruisin Blast.
Yes. Thank you so much for recommending them.
Absolutely. I mean, it's doing this, it seems like you always have fun playing these old games. And sometimes, nostalgia gets in the way of a bad game, because that's happened with me, like with Impossible Mission 2 for Nintendo, where it's a terrible game. The only thing that was great about it was the yelling. But this right here was one of those that was the exact opposite. Like the nostalgia was there, and then when you replayed it, like the nostalgia is not as good as actual playing it was.
Right.
So anyway, I really enjoyed it, and I guess that's going to wrap up this week's episode.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, guys, we thank you guys for joining us. Always remember, you can hit us up on social media. If you're part of Hammy's clan that sideswiped somebody in Ireland, let us know, because that's a fun story.
If you were from Ireland, you were sideswiped by an American, please let us know. Visit us at Ham and Spam Games on Twitter.
We'll send you some insurance information. Maybe,
no, we won't.
Maybe, possibly. But guys, we appreciate it. Just go check us out, and we'll be back again next week with another new episode. Thanks, guys.